matter. Okay, Mexico. Ooh, now we're gonna get some interesting stuff. So I'll make the comment on Mexico. One of the things that you can find now, it was much harder before, but you can actually find a lot of podcasts and a lot of history stuff on YouTube in Spanish on the Mexico region. But the translate on Google, on sorry, on YouTube is actually
Sucks.
pretty good. So you can actually set up the. It's okay. I mean, like you can follow along, right? It's better for like
Well,
I know you and I are speakers, but like somebody can follow along, so you can get
yeah.
a little bit better history. And we're gonna go
I'll also
fast on this because I know
recommend.
people want us
I
to.
also, yeah, I also gotta recommend like Club Lucha specifically because he covers the
Yes,
stuff
shout out to
in
Foos.
English.
Yes.
Follow Fools on Twitter. He's a really good guy. His work is really excellent. Keep posting. But
And
that stuff.
post. Okay, so the new candidate here are Los Infernales, which is El Satánico, Pirata Morgan, and MS1. Um, I'm gonna say on this, like, so there are that is they're a big act, right? So they're an act that it's a money drawing trios act in Mexico.
Yeah.
There's some really good matches with them, like Sangre Chicana. Like there, I put the Sangre Chicana, La Fiera, mucho, like this is a big act. They had big shows. I want to say that that team. Hold on, give me a second. Uh, before I don't want to make. I made a mistake with Emmy. I don't want to make another mistake, so I'm gonna like just confirm. Sometimes I'm old. Sometimes I gotta confirm these things, guys. Like sometimes I forget things. So I believe they work. I think they worked on the World's Collide. Wait, no, am I wrong on that? Fine, Worlds. Hmm. Please, like I'm gonna say, basically, like they're good act, they're big drawing act, and very popular. But I would not consider them in my top of the Mexico category. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't even consider them as a standby vote. They're a no for me. And again, this is not me saying they're a bad act. This is me saying I got 3 votes in this region, and I have 5 acts that I think are
Are
great. So yeah,
are the are the Brazos in?
the Brussels got in. They got in already,
Okay.
so
Yeah, the
we don't have to
Brazos
worry
are
about the
in.
Brussels.
Yeah. So
The
like if
Brussels
you
were in.
compare
If the
them,
Brussels weren't in, we'd be sweating
yeah,
here.
yeah. So like you have to compare them as a trios to the Brazos, and like they're like on the tip. They're like I have to be convinced. That's why I can't say yes to them. But
So
they're like
let
right
me put
there
it
with
this
the
way.
Brazos,
Like so,
almost right there.
I actually had we're going to talk about an act that we're going to talk about later, which is Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner, right? Um, Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner, more properly, are known as La Ola Blanca, the White Wave. And the White Wave, it was Angel Blanco, Dr. Wagner, and El Solitario. And so, and we had this argument about whether you consider, but when you listen to the pods, everyone considers the full act to be Solitario, Angel Blanco, and Dr. Wagner. And Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner betrayed Solitario, and then there's a whole thing around the rest of their career where they're feuding back and forth with each other and having apuestas matches and drawing huge, gigantic houses, right? To the point where I believe Solitario's last match is with Wagner, and it's when he beats him for the mask, and they have there's a whole legend with these 2 guys in a death pact saying that if one of them died, then the others would fall into heaven. You can find out that it's a whole thing. No, seriously,
Sexy
it's like
death.
an urban legend with that Ola Blanca, and Ola Blanca is like this huge act across from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and bunches of drawing houses in every territory. They would have personal matches everywhere. And if I'm comparing the Infernales to them, the Infernales lose by a landslide, right? Like, and I like the Infernales, but like, if I'm looking about influence and I'm looking about significance and I'm looking about legacy and I'm looking about drawing, no, Ola Blanca just beats them hands down. And again, I'm considering Ola Blanca with Solitario, who's already in the hall. Like Solitario and Wagner are already in. It's Angel Blanco, but really, honestly, when you look at it, it's essentially like an act that was really because again, as I'm saying, like they were having these apuestas matches with each other and the big rivalry, and they made the other guy like a giant star, and then they kept working with each other. Then they had a feud also when they, it's a whole thing, right? So as an act, as a drawing concern, as an act, I'm going to go, no, I'm going to go with Ola Blanca, right? Because Ola Blanca is a much more important act over a much longer period of time and a much more big drawing concern. The problem is going to be with Ola Blanca is because it's a peculiarity of Mexican wrestling that like it was banned, you couldn't get it on TV for like a long time, so you'd only get like film clips and whatnot. Until like it
Yeah.
came back, but so a lot of the footage is lost. But if you listen to people talk about it and you look at the drawing houses, and people don't have to work on that, they're a much bigger drawing concern than any of the other tags that are in this category, right? I'd probably say Santo and Octagon are close, but the thing with that Santo and Octagon is Santo's in, and I would no. Like if I'm judging, I'm going no. Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner are my vote for a trios tag. And again, I'm including Solitario, and people will get mad at me for that. But I'm going with when I listen to the pods in Spanish, when people talk about La Ola Blanca, they mean all three of them: Santo, Octagon, and Solitario. And they're talking about Solitario breaking up, like basically Wagner and Blanco beat up Solitario. He turns babyface, and then they they spent the rest of their careers feuding until they die, right? And car accident and Blanco and forget I forget the order which they I believe it's Wagner. Sorry, it's Blanco and Solitario, and then anyway, the point being that like from a comparison point of view, I'm going with the earlier act with the longer drawing history, and like guys who are like legacy acts on top. I'm gonna go like I'm gonna vote for that's who I'm gonna vote for in this category. So I would say like that's why my no on Alias Infernalis and my yes on Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner, and we'll get to that later. But like that's my logic on like, and then probably like my no on Santo and Octagon. And again, Santo and Octagon, like that is a drawing act, right? They're about a big feuds, but it's not enough for me to like.
Say yes. Santo.
Yeah. I mean,
like Santito, like he completely dwarfs everything Octagon did. Octagon is great.
Yes.
Octagon was a great draw for AAA. He, like as a tag team, they drew so much with like Gringos Locos and like.
But here's the thing: who's the most? But if we're gonna do this, who's the most important tag team partner that Santito had? It's Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, because like it also
if we're talking about
we go back to like
historical significance.
Yeah.
Like it may be the most important television feud in the history of Mexican lucha is probably Santito and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Right.
And before them, it was their dads who had that major breakup with Gory and Santo.
Yeah.
So like
that was the whole thing.
Man,
that's the whole kind of kind of the whole history. And you're kind of like going like, okay, so you're putting Octagon, but like, okay, no. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Santito carries that whole thing, and like it's just you can't like seriously say like Octagon is at that level. I mean, because like people love that team.
Here's the thing.
I'm over here in LA, they still sell those dolls like of them together like in a 2-pack. If you go to like some of the swap meets, that's the 2-pack.
I know, but if we were working, if you were Santito's tag team partner against those Gringos Locos, they would be selling dolls of you in the streets of LA. Like, I can't put that on. I cannot put that on Octagon.
Yeah,
I love it,
I couldn't.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I couldn't.
I can't.
It's weird.
So I like.
It's weird for me as the non-Spanish speaker, but how I got how I got introduced in the '90s to Lucha Libre was Octagon and Santo. Like I always saw them every time I tuned in when I watched AAA when I was a kid, because they would come on Saturday nights. It'd be WCW Saturday night, but the AAA show would come on right around the same time, and I would always see Octagon and Santo. So
it was on
for me. So for me, like as a kid, I thought Octagon was like a star, but
I'm not. Again, I'm not. I want to be clear. This is one of those situations where I'm like looking at the acts. I'm going, I need to pick 3, right? And like as I said, like Infernalis and Satanic. Does anybody want to vote for Infernalis?
No.
Okay, so we go no's on Infernalis. Can't do it. And then we go Doral Dixon. And Doral Dixon, I think we mentioned him before. Doral Dixon was a money drawing star in Mexico for ages. Like and kind of like a black American man, kind of a huge star in Mexico. I mean, I think he might be originally from Jamaica too. Forget that, but like essentially Jamaican. he drew. He also drew in He drew in Texas. He drew in New York. He worked on top of New York. He worked on top He worked on top everywhere, and he's a big time legend, money drawing star.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen matches with him versus Buddy Rogers. Like, so he worked on top everywhere, and he was like a big giant star, and he's big and influential. And it's just, I think, part of, again, we mentioned Mexico. We don't have a lot of the footage for when he was working. He was working in the 70s mostly. So by the time like we get TV back in Mexico, he's not really that often working. But him and the next guy we're going to talk about are like big important stars, and I think Dixon is overdue, and I'd like him to get in before he, I want him to be able to get the recognition before, while he's still there to appreciate it, right? So I'm like, I mean, if you look and you look at how people talk about him, you look at how people treat him, he's a legend. He deserves to be in, right? I don't know that he ever should have been brought up to a vote, but whatever, it's fine. I think that Darrell Dixon should be in the Hall of Fame, right? Um, I actually put that up. I put that Buddy Rogers, Baron Maurice versus Bobo Dixon and Art and him.
Taylor R. Thomas.
Yeah, yeah, and Art Thomas.
Taylor R.
Yeah,
Thomas. Yep.
yeah,
Oh
and
man,
it's if you watch it, and he's really good. One of the things that's really interesting to me about Doral Dixon from the footage I've seen is his style is the territory baby faces. Carlos Colon works like Doral Dixon, right? I saw him. I was like immediately like, oh, Carlitos works like him, and he because that baby face kind of flyer. He's doing that style that he's doing. Carlitos and some of the local like baby faces, and a lot of the workers in the islands would do, right? So he's I would say he's an influential kind of figure because he's working a style where I recognize when I see him, I recognize. Obviously, there's not a lot of tape of him, but what I've seen reminds me of some of these other guys. And again, as I said, he worked on Top Everywhere. He's a big legend in Mexico. He deserves to be in, to me, right? And much
yeah.
like the next guy, I mean, like, Doc, Doral Dixon, yes or no?
Based on like what he's accomplished in lucha, what he means to lucha, and then him also being drawing in North America, I'm gonna say yes because like I mean, like
Yeah, how
you
many
you
how
you
many people
convinced me
how many
on
people
also on Angel Blanco and Dr. Wagner as an act because those two are like they're tied together and the
that's all
car
that
crash and
like
all that is just
it,
so you're just so tied to the history of lucha,
it's such
and so is Doral
it's a
Dixon.
lucha legend. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Doral
I mean, I think
Dixon's a
like how
lucha
many
legend. Without him, you don't have Black
I'm gonna
Magic.
like how many people have worked on top in New York, Texas, and kind of in that era, New York, Mexico, and like Mexico, right? It's yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's
Emma, what do you
that's an
think?
insane work.
The more I read about him, the more I think he's a Hall of Famer. But because Mexico, if I had a ballot, I would debate either putting into it. I mean, it's weird because like half the ballot, I know all these guys, and then like if like Los Finales, I wasn't like I know El Satanico in Parada Morgan, but I've only seen a little bit of MS Uno, and all of them together, I haven't seen a lot. But but I mean, with Doral Dixon, I didn't know about him until they put him on the ballot, and then more I read about him, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Um,
Yeah. That's it, I mean, like it's again, it's one of these things where like sadly we don't have any tape, right? A lot of that, and we have to go by what we see. But from what we know, I think that it's a very clear case of me to yes. I would again, if I had a ballot, I would vote for Mexico in large part because I can do the research and I have, and
mhm.
I can sit there and like listen to these legends talk about it and kind of like look at the numbers and that, and I feel like I'm better qualified than some of the people who are voting because like I again, we can have a conversation around some of this lucha stuff and kind of like have it be
Brother.
like there. I think next candidate, I'm also a yes on. It's my last yes in Mexico. It's going to be Gran Hamada, right? I think he's kind of
Oh
overdue.
god.
You could talk me into him being a candidate who could be in Mexico or Japan, but he is he's an incredible worker. Like you go watch any match you find of him, and they're all fantastic. Like they
Up to
consider him
the
like the
two
best worker in
thousands.
Mexico in the same. Yeah, he's working like late, and he was drawing there. He's drawing in UWF. He's drawing everywhere. And again, he's also like again, I mentioned it with Howie Busa. He's like that link, one of those guys who's that link historically of kind of the different regions and a really influential worker. Again, go see his work. You'll understand. People will go watch like Hamada. You're like, oh wow, right? And so like to me, Hamada is like a very easy yes. And it's just I think he's eventually going to get in, and this might be the year maybe. Like hopefully he gets in. because I think he's kind of like really a very deserving case. And like somebody like has pulled the attendances of like I got like he had like some really crazy numbers again for some of these last promotions from Mexico, Mora, LIUWF, like and there's a good record for him too. Like so you got drawing, you got influence, you got like work. The work is fantastic. So yeah, I'm a yes on Hamada, and that's like my last like I will talk about some of my other favorites in this category, but like three yeses in Mexico are Dixon, Hamada, and Ola Blanca, and I'm good with that.
Dude, so you convinced me on Ola Blanca because I watched their story on YouTube like probably 3 days ago, and like the blood pack thing, and then them just ended up doing that. It's so
Well,
insane.
I mean, here's the thing. It seems so common now, right? Where you have a successful tag team, they break up and they have a bunch of Apuestas matches. But these guys are doing it from the '60s through the '80s, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and so
So it's
yeah,
not.
so then
I mean, and again, like I'm not saying they're not unique because Santo did with something like, but these guys like did the whole
yeah,
turn thing and like flipping, and it's when they were doing it, it's kind of like this unique thing. It becomes a whole thing for like their whole kind of career. And again, if it wasn't drawing money, but it was, so you're like looking and go like, yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
like again, if we're gonna kind of judge it by that, then I'm gonna go, yeah, of course. I
yeah,
mean, and these guys, and essentially it's like saying, hey, Angel Blanco should be in. And I'm like, yeah, based on the act, I was like, yeah, sure, Ola Blanco, put him in.
yeah. So like on
What?
Grand Hamada, uh, you kind of heard me earlier with Hayabusa. We've had this discussion because I did do a Grand Hamada kind of tribute thing. Uh, when we think of Lucha Resu, we think of not even just think about Lucha Resu, think about Lucha Libre, right? So Gran Hamada was one of the trainees at the original, like one of the original students under the Inoki Dojo, right, for New Japan. So he goes to Mexico, and then like New Japan cuts him, right? So New Japan cuts him. So he ends up making his own way in Mexico. Gran is a, sort of a take because he's a very short man, very very short man. Because Gran means big, so Gran Hamada was sort of a
Yeah,
joke on him,
Big
like
Amala, yes.
yeah, because it was like it's a joke, but like he was such a big draw in Mexico that even though New Japan had cut him, he kind of became a liaison because like with Gran Hamada you get like Tiger Mask. Satoru Sayama goes to Mexico, and like that sort of like is the first beginnings of EMLL. That's the original name of CMLL, and New Japan as like allies and trying to like get these wrestlers because you also get like Keiichi Yamada, Liger, who went to Mexico because New Japan didn't want him. But him working under Hamada, it gave him like this. It gave him like this special. I'm not gonna say like stature, and then like he takes all of this experience in Mexico to go over to Japan, form UWA, and from that comes guys like the Great Sasuke and Ultimo Dragon, Yoshihiro Asahi at the time, and like when you look at that lineage of what Lucha Resu from Gran Hamada to Sasuke, Hayabusa, Liger, Tiger Mask. Tiger
Yeah,
Mask. Okay, it's a
there's a great
lineage.
article by there's a great article by Case Lowe on him called "The Life, Career, and Enduring Legacy of Gran Hamada." I recommend it. And again, anything on Gran Hamada, like if you're a wrestling fan, if you haven't seen
Yeah,
him, you need to see him. He is
yeah,
so good. I can't recommend him. Like I have a late career match with him in Pedro Aguayo and that match is
man.
EWFF from
Pedro
'84,
Aguayo. I
and
love.
yeah, and
There,
it's just yeah,
there's this
and again,
match with him
it's that art.
and oh sorry. There's this match with him and Negro Casas also from like I
Yes,
forgot
yes.
what like, and it's just this man created a style and created an environment where guys to this day like Doki, Kokai, like they're these guys from Japan, Jaro Gero. Can I say Jaro Gero? Dick Togo,
Yeah.
three of the most influential men in Japanese pro wrestling right now. Like, and even like we go like to lucha, far as like the lucha influence in in Joshi, because like a lot of the things that came from him and that style it translated to Joshi, like the trios matches, the costumes, all that stuff. Akira Hokuto came out to like a Spanish song. Uh,
I mean, if
I
you're a
like
fan of of what we call lucharesu, he's the guy, right?
he's
Like
Agent Zero.
he's the Ur. He's Agent
Yeah,
Zero, right? He's kind of like, and I love the style, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like go like, yeah, I mean, he's
yeah.
easy. Um,
So obviously my answer was
but
yes. And if you guys do want to see one of his American matches, ECW, Taka, Sasuke, Grand Hamada, no, Grand Hamada, Sasuke, and I forgot that guy's name versus Kai and Tai DX. Watch it. If you're on DVDR, that's like a special. But go ahead and watch it because like it's you want to hear Joey Styles go crazy. Watch that match.
um, thoughts on Hamada? Anything, JL, or
Um, it, for me, if I was voting in this region, I would vote yes. I mean, just a storied career in Mexico, and also if and that's the thing with a case like his, it's almost loose because of the stuff he's done in Japan. And you talk about influence. I mean, the Lucha Wrestling influence, but also him training girls at JWP. Um, that class, um, Ozaki and Dynamite Kansai and all those wrestlers and JWP, even Zoktil Hamada, his daughter, she was training there for a little bit before she left. But
there's a real
yeah,
argument. There's a real argument that Hamada might be the most important candidate, not in the hall of the people in the bottom.
mm,
He might be the most like we look at him and go like, "Come on, man!" Like they're like we start like because I mean he has a drawing case, he definitely has a working case, and God the influence, and you're like multiple reasons. It's
His
I'd struggle
his
to come up with
daughter
somebody.
Ayako is still
But
training people in Mexico Jojo right now. So like
Mexico, yeah, like
we're going to see like his lineage still goes on and on and on to this day,
yeah,
like with new trainees.
Ayako's one of my personal favorite wrestlers. So with that, it's with Gran Amata, it's a little bit personal for me, just because she's one of my favorite wrestlers, and Gran Amata's an absolute fantastic wrestler. But just to see that, like when you watch her in the ring, it's a deep reflection on him, how he worked. I mean, you can't. It's not a one-to-one comparison, but
Yeah.
she's pretty great in her own right. So
yeah,
just for that, yeah. But
I think
also just go ahead.
so we're all yes. So we're all yeses on Dixon and Hamada and Hamada, and I think for good reasons. And I throw in the line that I think Hamada might be the strongest candidate on the ballot, or close to
Also,
it. If you look at the holistically, it's close. I mean, like at least anybody we've talked to so far, him and Hayabusa, and I probably throw I'd say Hamada is the most of. I have him, Hamada. I'd have Hamada, and then I'd have Hayabusa too,
yeah.
really. But they're both like worthy candidates, and like
Yeah.
both kind of like in that same kind of window. Next candidate. I like this candidate. I don't have a vote for him, but I would if I had a ballot. Like I would, not this year, but maybe another year. Bolader Jr. Bolader Jr. He's one of the greatest flyers we've ever seen, and he's also, and I think, and he's the guy that everyone goes to and says is influential and a big trainer everywhere, and he's an incredibly influential guy. I just don't have the votes for him, right? But he is very much a worthwhile candidate. But like, I hate saying no to him, but like I just don't have the votes, right? Um, Doc,
I do not have votes anymore. I it's
yes. Well,
this
no,
is such a
yeah, it's
strong
like
it's so strong here. Like
yeah,
I love Volador Jr. Like Volador Jr. is one of the greatest high flyers for like lucha libre in pro wrestling in general. Like long career,
yeah. We need to
great main events. He even had a career in
we need
TNA. Like this is like insane to not say yes to him, but I don't have the votes.
Like look at his great what is his great some of his great matches. He has some legendary matches too, and part of some legendary like all sorts of like legendary matches too. I think like the lesson from Mexico is let's get some of these guys in so we can get some of the other guys in because like I said like I would on this I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 7 people I would consider voting for in this category out of
Yeah,
what is it, how many candidates?
Wow.
Like out of 10 candidates, I have 7 people I would say I would eventually vote yes if I could, right? Which is kind of like insane.
yeah.
So we're both like Volador is worthy candidate. I don't have any votes for him, and neither does Doc. Jamal, what do you think about Volador?
Um, I'm going to tend to side with you guys in terms of. I mean, Volador at one point, I thought he was the best wrestler in the world. Probably what
Yes.
2016, 2017. I thought
Definitely.
he was the best wrestler in the world. Like he's another great in ring worker. Has been part of some of some big houses in Arena Mexico. I remember buying. I think he was in this. Was it in the semi-main event? It was. I bought the pay-per-view when CMLL they were just like trying to get into the digital pay-per-views and stuff like that. I remember buying. I think he was semi-main event. It was like a combo of it was Roosh and Casas. I think they faced off, and then Volador and someone else faced off, and they were both hair matches. And I was like, I have to absolutely watch this match,
Yeah,
watch this show.
the one I'm recommending on my thing is him and Sombra, Mask versus Mask, his which is. Yeah. And again, this is again we can make a list just on Volador of some like insanely good matches. He again, I agree with you. He was, if he wasn't the best worker in the world, he was like top three, right, for a period. So at that level, and again, like the level of respect people have for him, and the level of like, he's considered like the guy, and he trains a bunch of the guys too. So he's one of those guys who has that level of influence too. I don't have the votes for it, and it kills me, right? So I think we're all kind of like, okay. And it's same problem with me for the next guy, Sangre Chicana. Sangre Chicana is a legend. He is a just he's a very it's a different style. So he's the guy who's working the rough tumble style, and in terms of we talk about drawing, we talk about work, we talk about influence. He's a legend, but I don't have the vote for him. Like Mexico, it sucks that I don't like get some of these people in because good lord, like I'm passing on like I'm basically bleeding here, right? Like again, like in honor of Chicana, I am bleeding that I can't vote for him. Um,
Same. This
yeah,
this
it's like
this this sucks, dude. It sucks also because like we're I think we're making a case for us to be lucha guys, you know, because like there's not a lot of people who cover this in English, and like trying to give it like well what these guys mean to lucha libre, what these guys mean to pro wrestling. It's like Chicana and Volador Jr. should be Hall of Famers. Like and I
no,
even
I
like even while like I talk like about Octagon and Santito, like that they are also a legendary tag team, but I can't like because of the strength of all
no,
the
I
other
can't pick.
candidates,
Look,
I can't pick them.
no.
It's like
Like I would say Angel Blanco and sorry, I would say Santo and Octagon are like the third weakest tag team on this, but I would still, I mean, they're still a respectable candidate. It's
yeah,
just like the guys in front of them.
it's
Like I'm dismissing Infernales out of hand. I'm going like, no, Infernales, no, I'm not even gonna think about you guys.
yeah,
And that's
but
a
they're
but
like
again,
so
Chicana
important
and
to. Ugh, they're like such
I
important
would
noodles for the game. It's like insane to like
yeah,
just like
Chicana
dismiss Los Infernales. Oh, I am so mad right now.
is
You have
Chicana.
no.
So is Chicana like? How would you rate Chicana as a heel in the '80s in Mexico in terms of
Well,
rankings? Of question, right?
Jesus,
Like we gotta like if we God, how high do we need to go on Chicana? Ah, Christ.
because you
Ah,
got
this
Chicana,
sucks.
you
This
got
sucks so much.
Negro, and you got Pero Aguayo, like senior. Like you uh, it sucks, dude. This sucks.
It's like
This
we're like, oh god, this kills me, man. It's like because like honestly, like he,
and we have
you know,
footage
if
on
we
them.
look, if we think,
We have footage. There's
if
some
we think
footage on
of,
them
if
because
we
of
think
New
about,
Japan filming them. It's like there's New
when we
Japan.
think,
There's footage of CMLL back in the '80s because New Japan would send the cameras there to record. But you know, I don't want to interrupt you anymore, bro.
yeah. Do you have anything to add on this one?
Oh, me?
Okay,
Oh,
so
hello?
okay, no, okay, so so the next one, and we already talked about Ola Blanca. I kind of explained that. I'm a yes. Doc, you said you were a yes. JML,
Yeah,
I mean, like I think you have a vote, Ben, and you can wait if you want. So we have some suspense, right? If you wanted to like wait on your third vote, um,
Yeah.
a little bit. Hijo de Santo and Octagon, I kind of explained it as I said, and I said like these are guys who are money drawing, top of the level, and I'm only going on this necessarily because Santo's in, and I don't think Santo and Octagon as an act are as strong as Blanca, like All Blanca or Infernalis even. So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, can't think about them.
This sucks so bad.
I
Cause
know, I
like
know.
you JML, like
Mexico.
this was like my introduction to lucha like face tag teams is Santito and
Mhm.
Octagon. Like this is like it's like
It's okay.
you
So
know
it, it is it's like
it's my starter tag team. It sucks so bad.
you can argue the Santo and Octagon versus Eddie Guerrero and Love Machine is one of the most probably I said it's the most important TV angle in the history of lucha probably. But in order of credit, I'm going Santo. I'm going Eddie, Santito, Art Bar, and then I drop to Octagon. Right. I think
Yeah,
uh, and I
yeah,
hate saying this, but if it was Hijo de Santo and Doc, right, against Eddie Guerrero and Love Machine, he would still draw, right? And so
yeah,
like under that, right, I have to like, and this is again, Octagon, please don't send the Mexican mafia after me. I'm like, I'm just saying that like, gotta be careful here, but like I'm just saying like I can't, in good conscience, say that you're as important as some of these other tag teams. I'm not dissing you,
yeah,
right? Please, I'm not Flamita. Please, please, please.
I was
Okay,
about to say.
okay.
yeah.
You saw what he did to
Flamita,
Flamita.
Yeah,
Flamita can't even come back to the U.S., bro. It's that
it's like
serious.
it's like the cartels, but like no, but I'm like, God, I'm sorry, but I can't. So I'm gonna go zero. I'm like no votes on Santo and Octagon. Anybody voting for Santo and Octagon just because like on their but or yes or no? We think.
Let's say I'd lean towards no. I mean, for me,
I'll
it's
leave it
more
open.
more nostalgic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
And now we come to like the one I really hate not being able to vote for, and the one I consider maybe voting strategically at some point is Mascarita Sagrada. And I'm going to explain this. Mascarita is one. I'd say he's probably the most important mini in Mexico.
yeah,
Money drawing on top. And here's the point: Sagrada. If you look at his matches, Mascarita Sagrada, you can see the blueprint for a lot of the modern style on his matches. The people try to do the stuff he was doing in his size, like as heavyweight wrestlers, and he's just like he is so good and so kind of influential really as a figure. Please like look it up, like he's worked everywhere, including he even worked in WWE, right? And
that's
just drew
me.
everywhere and drew houses on top, and he's like, I wish I had a vote for Mascarita Sagrada because I believe that he deserves one, and it kills me that like I can't because I can't, right? I can't. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I'm a no, but like, God, it kills me. It kills me.
yeah. So many of these categories are killing me in lucha. Like Japan was hard, right? Japan was so hard, but this is this is insane.
He's yeah.
I want
This is
people to
like, come
like
on, man.
I want people to realize this, okay? So when we're talking all these names like we're not even finished with the whole list. This is like lucha royalty. Royalty. Like they are etched in the history of lucha. They are part of the of making lucha. Like that's
Like,
why
if I
it's
get
so hard.
if I get if Mascarita Sagrada doesn't exist, right? If you erase him, worldwide wrestling is wildly. I think it's wildly different because I think his style and the things he was doing are things that people do now, and I think maybe we get there, but like I think it's influential enough that you know. And they're
Yeah,
still kind of a money
yeah,
drawing concern. Like they're enacted like the minis are things that like draw, and a lot of that is coming from like him being a draw on top, right?
yeah.
So like yeah, it's a long term thing. I hate it. So I can't vote for him. But like so I have no votes for him. So Triple A, anybody making a case for Triple A La Parka?
No, I for me, and I see the case because he's always been wildly popular. Every time I saw him on AAA, but I personally never thought he was that special of a worker. But I know that he was special, like he was popular. I mean, it's weird because I see like L.A. Park, like that's a true blue Hall of Famer in my
Yeah, La
eyes.
Parka's a
But
Hall of Famer. Yes,
Absolutely.
but
I
Parka. I'm
the second Laparca, I don't know. Yeah.
I would second La Parka could stick around. Maybe you could stick around the modern ballot a little bit. Maybe stick around the Japan ballot a little bit, but not Mexico. No, I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry.
You,
Can't do it.
when you
Can't do it.
so you know one of the lucha masks I own, because I'm one of those guys who buys lucha mask. I specifically bought the Triple A Aura Parka because you know I love the guy. You talk about aura farming nowadays, right? You talk about wrestling like you're playing Nintendo 64 wrestling games. This guy had like a charisma about him, the entrance, and I know like it's sort of like he took it from LA Park, but like he also got over on his own. They had that big match. It was a pretty big drawing match. I like him, but it's like, you know, if I was gonna compare him to anybody on this ballot, like overall, it's sort of like British Bulldog, David Boy Smith. Like I, I personally, I can't.
Bob Armstrong is my comp. Bob Armstrong.
Bob Armstrong, yeah, you know, like completely. He
Well,
drew
actually,
money
probably
on
like
top.
he's
He's stronger,
he's
man.
he's a better version. He's strong. He's stronger than Bob Armstrong, and but because Bob Armstrong would not last on the Mexico ballot. I'm sorry. I like him,
Yeah,
but like no,
yeah,
not on this ballot. No, no, no,
yeah.
no, no, no.
So
Um,
all I can say is like he was a very charismatic wrestler, very popular, drew money. But when it comes to lucha libre, you have to, and in this category, because it's such a strong category, you have to be at a level where you're undeniable. And Triple A La Parca 2, he is unfortunately he doesn't quite make that. And I'm sure there's some people right now cursing at me, but like, yeah, it's
dude,
he
we
doesn't
like
make it.
I'm more afraid of having like having dissed Octagon than anybody
Oh
cursing
no,
at me on that.
Octagon is one
Yeah,
of the
and
greatest pro wrestlers of all time, and
of
anybody
all
who
time,
says
yes, he is
differently
he's
are,
one of the greats.
you know, we
Dave needs to put him by himself. Yes, we love
yeah.
Octagon. You're
Don't
great.
we love
Love you.
Octagon? We love
Um,
Octagon. Great guy, excellent pro
yeah,
wrestler.
Octagon te
He's
amo.
right. He was right.
Octagon te
He was
amo.
right. Nobody should have taken that gimmick from him. It's his, only
Yes,
his.
he was.
Um,
Tenías razón, ese gimmick es tuyo. Okay, El Dandy. Nice little worker. No, 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 no.
who are you to doubt
He doesn't
him?
have an influence. Uh, I don't doubt him, but like, I'm not gonna El Dandy's the weakest guy on this entire field.
Yeah.
And again, he doesn't have a real case. Okay, so Jail, you have one vote pending. You have Doral Dixon and Gran Hamada. Do you want to spend your last vote in Mexico?
Uh, hmm. That's hard because with Ana Blanco, Dr. Wing, I feel like hearing hearing your case makes me want to vote for him, but I need more evidence just reading up on them. So
That's fine. That's fine.
I might just hold my vote. But like that's the thing with Volador, and I'll go back. I went back and looked that up. The pay per view I bought, it was him and Negro Casas, hair versus hair. They main evented. It was in 2016. It was the
That's-
other the semi main was that was advertised was Maximo and Rouge. So
Ooh,
Oh,
I haven't
that's
heard that.
that's
I haven't
such.
heard that name
So,
in
yeah.
a long time, right?
okay. So I'm hearing you're a yes on Bolador Jr., which I utterly respect.
You know what? Like, yeah. Let me. You know what?
It's it.
I'll vote for
It
Volador
hurts.
Jr. Yeah.
It hurts so
like, here's the
much
thing:
not
you're
to vote
voting
for
for
Volador Jr., man.
you're voting for a guy who we all agreed had a case as the best worker in the world, like for a period of time. And to me, anytime you're doing that, it's good, right? And again, the problem is like with Mexico is like I am passing on voting for another guy. Like I think Sangre Chicana has an argument for being one of the best workers in the like one of the best workers in the world at a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Same
Every
thing with
time I see every
Mascarita.
time I see
Mascarita has argument.
Saga Chicana, yeah.
Like
Every
where I'm
time I
like
see
I'm looking
Saga
at
Chicana, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Anytime I see like Chicana or anytime I see Mascarita Sagrada or like, you know, I'm Santo and Octagon, right? Where like again, I'm not. It's just by comparison, or like Infernales. Infernales are really good.
Yes.
It's just a really tough category for you to kind of like. It has to be. You have to be like a stone cold legend to get a vote in Mexico, right? I need to like I need 10 houses that are like gigantic, right? And I need like people right like treating you like a legend in interviews. And I think that's to me that's Dixon, Hamada, and Ola Blanca. Although here's the thing, Bolador. I think Bolador he's the strongest candidate I am not voting for right now. So far, by far, he is the strongest candidate I'm not voting for. If
Yes.
it was, if I was in another category, I would find a vote for Volador. Right? I would vote for Volador over Tiger G Singh. Right? And I would vote for Volador over there's a couple guys, and I might vote for him over God. Who are I cut in historical? I might vote for him over. Historical stuff. I might vote for him over the one Eric's, honestly. I would hate
He's
myself,
that
but
strong,
I might do it.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
he's such a strong. It's like not voting for Tanahashi. That's what I want to let people like realize. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
not
like people
voting for
have to, like,
Volador is not like not voting for Tanahashi. That's the level.
like or like
It's-
not like when it was like back when like not voting for Kota Ibushi, right? Like oh I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass on Kota. It's like and I think Bolador has a stronger case than Kota did. I think
Yeah.
arguably.
Yeah.
I mean I think
Yeah.
he's done it for a longer time. And God, like Mexico said, like this is why people don't vote Mexico. It's like, God damn it, this is evil. Like if you understand, you're like, oh God, what am I doing? Okay, so modern.